that is with this video sponsor, ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter's matching technology works fast to find top talent so you don't waste time or money. You can find out right away how many job seekers are in your area that are qualified for your role. No wonder ZipRecruiter is the #1 rated hiring site based on G2. So make your hiring a little merrier with ZipRecruiter. 4 out of 5 employers get a quality candidate on the first day. Just go to this exclusive
Hi, everybody, and welcome to episode 189 of the IROCKNITTERS podcast. If this is your first time, welcome. I'm Corey, a knitwear designer and teacher, and I love color. So this podcast is all about knitting and keeping it colorful. I do have a Patreon community, but there's no pressure whatsoever. I've been podcasting every other week for 6 or 7 years now, and I really wanted to get to know some of the people who watch my podcast. I love reading books, so I wanted to talk to some knitters about books. So I have a knit night every other month and a book club every other month that you can join for $2, $4, or $10 a month. So all you need to do is just go into the box below or go to Patreon/IROCKKNITTERS and join my community. It's just a monthly fee. You can sign up or leave at any given time. You might want to just give it a try. And it also supports me and my small business. It has completely transformed my ability to keep my business afloat in the last year and a half. And so I want to thank every one of you who has been a Patreon, whether you stayed long-term or just did it for a couple of months. It has completely changed my ability to keep this podcast up and going and to pay for some of the fees that I have to incur monthly in order to do it. I have a table full of stuff today. I got out all of my whips just to have a little come to Jesus moment talk with myself about things that I need to finish. So I'm going to show those. We'll go through them quickly. But I also have some finishes and a new design that I'm going to share with you today. I have a new pattern coming out in the next week, not even week. And so I want to share that with all of you. And I'd love to know how many whips you need to finish. Are you feeling pressure about finish them? Do you mind having a bunch of things on the needles? I don't think I've ever carried over a year that I haven't had a bunch of whips like into the new year. I don't think I've ever had a clean slate ever. So I don't even know if that's a goal for me, but finishing some of these things that are really close or wouldn't take me too long would be wonderful. I feel like if I could go away for 2 weeks and not work, not do any design work, no teaching, no contracts, no applying to teach, no emails from people who need help with patterns, I could clear them all off. Like that's all the time I really would need, but they just don't get touched. So, how many do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 whips. 2 that could be frogged. I think it's more like 11, but anyway. So yeah, let's get started. Thanks for being a podcast listener and viewer. I really appreciate everyone, especially this time of year when it's gotten so busy. The only way that I can communicate with some of you is through the comments down below, and I don't get a ton of comments anymore. I know people watch and they watch the first 20 minutes and then they click away. But if you'd like to leave a comment so we can have a little discussion or I can feel a little more involved in this podcasting side of things, that would be great. So just click down below and tell me how many whips you're carrying into the new year, or what you're working on, or whether or not you finished all of your holiday knitting, because I did not. I mean, it's finished now, but it was not finished by the day of. Confessions. Let me tell you, in our next knit night for the Patreon people is January 26th at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time on Zoom. So if you become a Patreon member, that would be posted in there. So everyone mark their calendar for January 26th at 7 p.m. to knit together for an hour. We just share what we're working on. We sit down, we relax, we just knit. We see what other people are knitting. It can be very inspirational. I love that. And then in February, we're having our next book club date, February 24th at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. And we are going to read Twice by Mitch Albom. I just finished listening to that, and it's a short book about whether or not, if you had a chance to do something over another time, would you choose it? Could you choose it? And if you were given that option and you could do it only once and not redo it. So it's good. I think we're just gonna have a ton to talk about. It was really interesting. And so yeah, that's gonna be the book club for February. I have my newest Dumplin bag. So if you wanna be surprised and just get it in your Ravelry and not see it ahead of time, then look away. But I have shown it previously, but I have the new sample done. This is the original bag, and it turned out just a tiny bit small because I wanted it to be a larger bag for the actual insert that I bought. I did find an insert to fit it better that I ordered. They're the felted liner purse inserts from Amazon. They have pockets and things like that. So I did find one that was just slightly shorter, but the original one I had bought was going to be this one, which is larger and longer by just a bit. And so you have that bottom, and then you pick up, and then I found these great shoelaces. Can you tell that that's iridescent? Yes, you can. So they're really fun. You can make an I-cord drawstring, but this is a larger bag with a larger insert in it. So yeah, it's got pockets, it's got the bigger insert. So even if you don't want to put fur on yours, which I just think is darling for a little girl especially, who would love to carry her treasures or her stuffy or her favorite things in this. But if you just wanted to carry this and want the fastest bag of all of them to knit up, this is done in a chunky weight yarn. So I used Haydenville Chunky from Webb's, America's Yarn Store, and it is so soft and wonderful. I used this same yarn for the Great Bear Hood, this is the companion piece too. And I was worried about running out of the color blue for this size in 2 skeins. I wouldn't have had that trouble, but I really do like making the casings in 2 colors. It's so much easier if you have 2 colors on your needle at the same time. So I would highly recommend. Yeah, it's gonna easily carry, 3-4 balls of wool, a project and a ball or 2 of wool. It's just a much bigger bag, and it works up so fast because look at how big those stitches are. They're gigantic. So if I put them side by side, it's just enough bigger, little bit longer, and tiny bit taller. So it just worked out better in the second iteration. I was just a little happier with it. So that will be coming out to everyone who purchased or is a Dumplin bag devotee. And then if you are not, you can just buy it individually, but you can still go back and buy all the bags, all 12 bags for the year. Yeah, so that's been kind of fun. I just have to take the pictures this afternoon. I was waiting for the shoelaces to arrive, and now I can just take the pictures and then it'll be ready. I just have to get it to my gal to lay out the pattern because we've got it all ready to go. Some of you may have seen on my Instagram that I posted a little funny cartoon, just words, saying that I was going to leave my husband because shortly before Christmas, he said, there will be no more yarn. And I said, well, goodbye. Just kidding. But he said, you don't need any more yarn. And he restores old cars. So I responded with, you don't need any more car parts. Because we have a basement full of car parts. And it was just kind of a back and forth. But he said, you don't ask for yarn. But my daughter came through. She said, Mama, always come through. So she went up to Be Woolen and she got me 2 skeins, and they're perfect for me. 2 skeins of Malabrigo Chunky in Rhodesian Ridgeback, which I have that in several iterations of different weights of yarn. So I knew the colorway right away because it's so pretty. And then this one is Diana, which I have knit with that color before as well. Just really pretty. So I do not have a plan for these two because she also gave me a gift card to go up to Be Woolen, which was really nice. So I can do that. Then I ordered a skein of Fiber MacGyver in the Mulberry colorway because you guys know me, I'm a raspberry. It is pretty dark. It's pretty purple. I kind of lean more toward these brighter, a little bit brighter, but I needed a contrast because I want to make that Kareen hat. It came out with the Surrey. It's like got a snowflake design on it. It's really, really fuzzy. Can you tell how much darker this is than the raspberry I liked? And this is called Mulberry, and I don't think that it was, you know, misrepresented. I think I just thought it would be a little brighter. So I think I might use this for something else. I did get a bunch of my big Birdie colors that I ordered when I was out in Oregon at the Fiber Festival. They did not have the colors I wanted. They were having people just place orders and pay for them, and that came in the mail. So I got a hot pink and an acid green to make the Badger and Bloom. And I might have shared that on the last podcast, but it did come in the last couple weeks, so I'm not really sure if I did or not. But so I did get some yarn around the holidays delivered, which is lovely. Let me talk about some finished objects. I have on my mannequin the Staycation pullover. This is a bulky, chunky knit. I use it in Haiku Kenzie, in the Kensington base, which is the chunky base. It is considered Aran weight, so 208 yards. So it's just a thicker, so would work up much quicker. Yeah, it's got all my favorite colors in it. The lime, the orange, the teal, the raspberry. Definitely a quick knit for someone. I have huge amounts of the lime, the orange, and the teal left. So if someone wants to buy those from me, let me know, because you could easily get this made out of that. I didn't have as much of the kind of raspberry colored left over. And then I have in my whip pile, which we'll get to, the Timbo vest, which I saw and bought yarn for when I was at the yarnery. But I'm disappointed in the size of the armhole and kind of the unfinished edge. Like, it's not bad. I could certainly wear it, but I have the Mary Merino 70 yarn from Kremke left over. I had to order it, but I'm going to trim that out. This just has such a nice finished edge up here. That I just think it would look nice if I did an I-cord around that edge. It would keep it from being sloppy too. I just think it would, I don't know, I might be disappointed when I take the time to do it because I-cord's never fast to do an attached I-cord, but it's 100% virgin wool, and it is just lovely. Very, very squishy, airy. This is super soft. So yeah, all about the vests, right? Getting all these vests to wear. Then I have some iterations of my new design coming out, and I'm just sharing it here up front. I don't know if I should be, but anyway, I am, because I put it on the mannequin to check the size and stuff. So this is the I Feel Pretty sweater. It has options for 3 different beads. Embellishments at the top and on the sleeves and at the bottom. So this is the next iteration, and it has 3 rounds of beads at the neckline, and then it can have 3 rounds of beads at the trim, and then it can have 3 rounds at the bottom. Now on this one, I just put 3 beads right here. I just thought it would be cute to show like a little bit of difference there, and I didn't put any beads on the sleeves. I might go back and put these on the sleeves. Let me bring this closer because these beads are gorgeous and you can't see them. They're still prettier than that in person. They're like iridescent and really pretty, kind of purple and tealy blue. They just really shine in person. The third iteration is this one that has all of the beads, so many rows of beads. I used big beads and small beads, square beads and round beads. At the top of this one, I love this because it's so me. It's just totally embellished with all the colors. I used lime, pink, blue, gold, and orange. And then I tried to find other beads that match that. So the big beads are the pink, the blue, the green, the orange, and the gold. And then I found smaller beads that were also in the gold, the blue, the orange, the gold, and the lime, so that they coordinate, but they don't like match. I have to finish the bottom of this one. I have a sleeve to do here. It's just been waiting for me to decide on the beading options. I can tuck that in, obviously. So yeah, so you can do 1 round of beads, 3 rounds of beads, 4 rounds of scattered beads. This one's called scattered. And then you can put beads on the sleeve and the bottom or not. It's all written in the pattern for you to tell you how to put the beads in. Or you can knit this sweater with no beads whatsoever. This is using Lavender Loon's flocculent base. It's a blown yarn. It's absolutely lovely. It is so beautiful. It's just lofty and lovely. This is the one that I knit up with those rose gold shiny beads, and then I ripped them all out and put in these pearl beads because I thought more people would be attracted to the like more subtle color than the ones that like kind of screamed metal. But I took a picture of the other one so that I would have that. And this is a yoke construction and then changes to raglan. So you get, there you go. You get the round yoke to put all your beads on in the round, and then you get a raglan shaping for a better fit over the shoulder and down here. So yeah, and this color and this texture is not being done justice on the picture. It is fluffy and airy and soft and light and beautiful, just absolutely beautiful. Yeah, so that will be coming out for Darn It Anyway Sweater Camp at the end of January. But if you're interested in going out and looking to get some of Sam's yarn or to start looking for your beads, I used 8mm beads. Those are the bigger beads here. You can pull a seed bead into the flocculent base, but you need a large hole. So if you're looking for beads, you can Google beads with large holes. And I have links in the pattern to all of the beads that I used and I found, and I have a huge bead collection now because I was just buying beads like crazy. But I also link them on the the project pages for these as well, so that people can find beads that are similar to these. I have testers using wood beads because they're so lightweight, and those are really pretty. If you are a brown, beige, tan person and kind of like that low contrast, a wood bead will work great. A 6mm bead works fine, but you still need the larger hole because this flocculent base is worsted weight with some fuzz. So 2 strands of it have to pull through your hole. Okay, does that make sense? Yeah, so I'm really, really excited about this one. My testers are just doing phenomenally. They have found so many tweaks and things, and we have added notes and different notations. There's a really interesting increase for your yoke in this pattern. And then we have mirrored increases at the raglan. That's knit front back and knit back front. So if you've never done that before, that's really fun to learn. And so yeah, I'm tickled about these. That I think I have 12 testers, and so we're gonna have lots of options for people to see what they look like and how they're working out for people. Just, yeah, really fun. Let's talk about some of my whips. I've already shared my Timbo vest that I'm gonna have to fix, so I'm gonna throw some of this stuff on the floor. First of all, I need to finish the Gushy Garter hat. This is all the farther I got. I got it cast on, and then I thought it would be like really good purse knitting or sitting around knitting for the holidays, but another thing jumped on my needles. This would take no time to finish, but it is by Park Williams, and I saw her speak, and I bought this yarn when I was in Oregon. So it's a, you know, it's a souvenir memory project. Need to get that else. Then I had planned to make a few more bulky hats for gifts for Christmas. I take a big stack of things to both of the families' houses, my family and Ross's family, and I say, take what you want. And this one did not get finished. I have a big giant bag of these kinds of yarns, so I can just knit or stripe or whatever. This one just didn't get finished. Would take not even an evening to finish this one up. So I'd like that to be off the needles. I still have my Alpine Bloom sweater on the needles. Now, this is a fingering weight, short sleeved sweater. I could certainly make it long sleeved, but this has just been in a bag since the fall. I loved knitting my other sweater that was similar to this. I just haven't gotten back to it, but I would love to take this and get it to the split for the armhole, and then be able to knit the body either at the Up North Fiber Retreat or at Sweater Camp when we're just sitting there, and it would be in the round and just plain knit for the whole body. That would be ideal. So I have 2 to 4 weeks to get this to the body. Then I have this sweater that has literally, I think I've shown this 3 years in a row. It is just a plain fingering weight sweater that has big circles at the bottom. It's called Ready for Fall sweater, and I have this County color changing yarn to do the circles at the bottom. And what I'd originally picked was more of a white that had black with it, and there was so much gray that I just wanted a brighter. So then I ordered this, stuck this in a bag, and haven't gotten back to it. Would take two days maybe to finish the bottom of this. Need to get that done. But I do think that this was going to take some color management so that the colors kind of make those circles gradiate. And so it has, like, every time I think about picking it up, I think I don't want to work that hard right now. Anybody do that, right? Okay, then I have my mittens. This is how far I've gotten from a year ago in the summer. I have 2. 1 and 2 started. Ridiculous. I want that Advent. I want them knit. I should just pay somebody to knit this. Now that I've done 1, I get it. Like, I'm over it. But, so I don't know that this will get worked on or finished. I have all the yarn for it. I just haven't gotten motivated to do it. Then I have my Stripe Dream, which you guys have seen a ton of times. I decided to make 3/4 sleeves. So at least 3/4 sleeves, and the body's done. I just now need time to get this back on the needles. And since I ripped out the I Feel Pretty sweater and redid the beads on that, and then needed to decide how many beads I was going to put at the bottom of the scattered one. That's all I've been working on in the evenings and making those decisions, and so I just haven't gotten, this has been sitting next to my chair to finish, hasn't gotten done. Then I have 2 more sweaters over here. This has been on the needles for 5 or 6 years. I love this sweater. I love the colors. I'm just really unhappy with the raglan shaping. If I were going to design this, I would have made this brown like 3 stitches wide. It just looks really crappy. And every time I pick it up, I think, fix it. In order to fix it, I would have to rip it all out and fix that. I thought about duplicate stitching over the top, but there are increases there. I've thought about just taking some yarn and whip stitching to make the line heavier. It's gonna be in the, raglan, so it's not gonna show. If I could get over myself, I would just finish it and wear it because it's beautiful, and the yarn is Jill Draper Make Stuff. It's so lovely. It's a really pretty all over sweater. There's a strand there. It's really pretty. But I was so unhappy every time I'd look back, and then I'd knit some more, and then I'd look back. Don't you? Okay, tell me, do the rest of you think that that looks like a sloppy mess? Or is it not, like from a galloping horse, right? I'll show you a couple of them. They don't even all look the same. It's just, I just think it could look so much better. And it was so much knitting to get this far. So I have to make a decision on that. That's why it keeps staying in the bag year after year after year. And then this is the probably my most disappointing project because it's beautiful. This is the adult Llani, and I ran out of yarn. And I ripped it back and took out stitches under the arm to make it narrower, to get it longer. And this is how much yarn I have. So it can be a cropped sweater, but I tried to purchase the yarn from a gal here in Minneapolis who said she had the yarn, and then she didn't get back to me, and I think maybe she didn't have it or she used it up or something. All of a sudden she refunded my Venmo payment, and I never talked to her. So I was like really bummed about it, because I don't know if she just didn't want to look, if she didn't want to ship it, if she didn't have it. Like, you know how you just feel like you got left, like you don't know why something happened. And this is Haverland DK yarn that I have had for 100 years. So it's not available. The dyer is on Etsy. I contacted her. She doesn't have the colorway written down. She doesn't remember what it was back in the day. I could finish the bottom in like orange or blue or something, but I just think it looked terrible. So now what I've just been waiting for this yarn to show up. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to rip back an inch and rib the bottom and see where it hits me. Because I do think I could probably wear it with like high-waisted jeans or a dress. Since it is short-sleeved, I probably would wear it all summer if it was cropped. I just was bummed because I just needed, to do the ribbing. And I thought I could find some of the yarn, and I can't. So yeah, that was a bummer. Then I have a Harlow hat on the needles that is my car bag. So it is started, and it just travels in the car for a time of emergency. So it never gets worked on. It isn't my car knitting, it's my car emergency. So it's in the back seat in case I ever get stuck somewhere or whatever. So that's gonna just be on my list to finish it at some point in the next 5 years. I'd have to get stuck in my car, or we'd have to go somewhere where I forgot my knitting, and then I would work on it. But that isn't going to happen. Okay, and then I have two possibilities for frogging. I might frog a design that I started 8 years ago called the Sticky Wicket, and take that off my whips in my Ravelry page. I started this fold over collar, and it was going to have a V-neck, and it was going to be kind of a peplum shaping, like be fitted and then branch out a little bit. I never got it really going past the neckline. It was kind of turning into a lot of work. I still have to decide if I want to turn that neckline into something else. So if I rip it, then I would have to start over, which doesn't make a lot of sense. So I'm going to decide if I want to frog that. And then I started my Malabrigo slip stitch blanket. Those of you who've been around for a while, you know that I had some beginner knitters go to Be Woolen and purchase that blanket kit, which I had purchased a number of years ago, but it basically was just 10 skeins of Malabrigo in a rainbow colorway. And we had to cast on 200 and some stitches, and in an I-cord cast on. And yeah, it was a provisional, and then you had to, anyway. So I cast it on so that I could teach them how to do it, because they come to my house every other Tuesday, and both of them abandoned their projects partway in. And one of them used some of the yarn for something else. The other one still has it on the needles. She's further along. But I just keep looking at this cast on piece, and I'm like, is that what you want to knit with that yarn? Or do you want to use it for something else or design with it? Slip stitch is just not my favorite. It just doesn't grow in length. You do 2 rows before you get any height. And so I don't know if I should just, it's sitting on my whips on Ravelry. So when I do open my computer, I see it every time. And I'm just thinking maybe you should just rip that out. It's like 2,000 yards of knitting in slip stitch pattern. I don't know that I would like any other pattern in it, because it's very pretty when you switch the rows all the time. I don't know. So that's all my whips and all of my projects except for this one. And this is how far I got on my mom's Christmas present. I did give her a hand knit for her birthday in November. And so I usually switch off giving her a birthday or a Christmas, and then I usually give her something for Mother's Day that's knit. And I started this thinking that I could learn the pattern and then be able to knit it when we were in the car and stuff, but I just never got past that. It's a skein of mohair on big needles. It's called Dew. It's real pretty. It's just a little scarf that you would drape around your neck. It's my mom's perfect color. I don't know. I could knit up one of my nifty necker scarves holding this double so much faster than this little piece. It's just like a long triangle. I just thought she would like the lacy design of that, where my necker scarves are more solid. I don't know. Anyway, so this, who knows, frogged or finished or frogged. It's just one skein. Oh, and look at the cute little purse bag I found at my hairdresser. It was so cute. I was like, it's orange, it's clear, I can put a knitting project in it. I came home, I was so excited. I put my mom's little thing in there. I don't know where the pattern went, which is part of the problem. I need to reprint out the pattern because I don't know where I put it. I think I folded it up somewhere so that it would be in here. Isn't this cute? They had a bunch of them. They had them in black and all the different colors, but of course I bought the orange one. I just thought it was so darling. So yeah, then I have a couple of things that I want to cast on in the new year for myself, some different ideas and designs. I saw the cutest sweater in a Vogue knitting magazine. So I saw it online or in someone's Instagram feed, and then I went over and looked it up, and it was in this magazine. So I had to order the magazine because they weren't selling it. I have a bunch of blown yarn, like a lot of blown yarn. So I thought that this was so cute. It's intarsia, color blocked. And I thought definitely I have some blown yarn that I can find for that. And so it is called Abstract Composition. And I went to my stash and I have this bag of cotton merino from Juniper Moon Farm. That's the right weight in the orange. And then I needed to pick a contrasting color for the other color block section. And so I ordered a skein, 1 or 2 skeins, I can't remember. So this is the one I ordered. I don't know now. It's going to be like a pink and an orange. I think it will be fun. It'll be lower contrast. The color is called Cerise, so it's really red. I mean, Cerise is more red, but I think, yeah, I think it'll be okay. I had to order to do this, and it's like an Aran weight gauge. So yeah, I copied the pattern out of the magazine, and then I got the yarn out because it's not like I have a ton of whips to finish. I'm such a big caster oner. I love to start. I love, love, love to start new projects. This made my day the other day, just spending the time looking that up and doing that. I was very excited. And then I purchased this yarn a long time ago, maybe a summer ago, or anyway, not that long ago, but I purchased this. This is the Hot Dish, Spin Cycle Hot Dish colorway for Minnesota Hot Dish. And this is the scarf that I saw, the Cowell scarf. It's called Montrose by Wandering Star Knits. And I saw the sample on their wall, which I took a picture of, which then I said I need to find yarn. And I bought something that was very similar in tone to make that. So I would like to get this cast on and knit this. Yeah, because I bought it for that, and Spin Cycle is hard to get your hands on, and Spin Cycle is also expensive. So if you buy some, you should use it up right away. So yeah, there you go. There are all my whips that I need to either finish or frog, and my current things, the 2 things that I want to cast on in the new year. Then, oh, I have Stevie's hat here. Some of you saw that I posted on Instagram that I didn't know if I was going to finish this in time. I make my son-in-law a hat every year for Christmas. He wears a hat every day, almost all day. He has kind of a shaved head, pretty close cropped head. And so I always knit him a hat. And his favorite hat is my easiest cabled hat ever, but I have knit that for him a couple of times. And he's got an extra large head, so it's hard for him to get hats to fit. So I cast on the same number for the bottom, and then I just decided to do it ribbed instead of putting the little cable crosses in it, because the cables are faux cables, so it's just a twisted stitch. But once I got up to like here, I decided, no, I need to have him try it on. I know he needs more depth. I know that this is plenty big. His head is like 24 and a half, 25. And I just didn't want it to be too short, because then it rides up. And I want it, and he really likes it to have the thicker double brim. And he liked the lighter weight. So this is the Farmer's Daughter Pishkin leftover skein from my vest that I did for them this fall, which is so squishy and so nice. It's a Sport to DK weight yarn. I've knit him a couple in a chunky weight. He doesn't like those quite as well. He just has one that is his favorite, and it's probably 3 or 4 years old, and he wears it all the time. So I decided to have him try it on when they came on Christmas Eve. And then I needed to do 2 more inches and then start the decreases. So I did that and got it done. So his hat, it's much more rust than that. It's blowing out because my lights, but it's not quite that orange. It's more rust. But yeah, so that is done and ready for him to pick up the next time they come over. What have I been watching? So much TV. Let's do it all real quick here. I watched Ripple on Netflix. This was so good. It's about how one person's life can affect another person, can affect another person in different ways. You follow these 4 different characters. This was season 1. I binged it. So good. So hoping that season 2 comes out. Then I watched Simon Cowell, The Next Act, and that is his new show on where he decides to do another boy band, make a new boy band. And I love kind of watching those kinds of shows where they put groups of singers together or put groups of dancers together in order to make an act. And this is Simon Cowell like you've not seen him before. He's nice and kind and more gentle and caring. And, you know, he and his partner have this boy that they adore, their son. And he's just a gentler Simon than what we see on some of the TV shows. But he has to interview or like listen to or audition about 1,000 boys in the UK, Ireland, and Scotland, I think. And then he picks a bunch of boys. And then Simon Cowell doesn't have a recording studio or he's not he doesn't do that, so they have to get an agent. And it was really good, very fascinating, highly recommend. You will fall in love with some of the boys. Some of the boys that try out are terrible. You will really kind of see the behind the scenes. I found the documentary really, really good. Then I watched Sean Combs' The Reckoning. That is the documentary on Netflix about P. Diddy. I didn't really have any interest in the rap star and the goings on behind the scenes, but I think it came on after something else and I let it start to run. And I think it was only 3 episodes and it was very interesting. I like learning, sometimes I just read books to learn something new. And so this was eye-opening. He's been brought up on sex trafficking, prostitution charges. He's been cleared of some and sentenced for others. He still has like 20 some cases against him, but it just followed his rise and how things happened and where he came from and who he was, and then the people in his life who saw him going sideways. Then I watched the whole new season of Emily in Paris, and it is not in Paris, which is just really strange to me. They go to Greece. They are going to open a new advertising agency. She's going to be the head of it, and then all these things. But the costuming is phenomenal. It is so good. So good. She has a new love interest. Even though the chef in Paris is still kind of on the back burner over there, and you're wondering if they'll ever get together. Very easy to watch, sit and knit. I had, lots of knitting I wanted to get done, and so that was really good. Then I watched that documentary Bad Neighbor about the lady in the neighborhood that is angry at the kids all the time, and then she does something terrible. She calls the cops on these kids that are playing in an empty field all the time, and the cops show up and they tell the kid, and then the kids are playing, they're literally playing football, they're yelling, they're running around, and she is just mad about it. It's not her property, but it's next door to her property, and she's just an angry, I think, crazy person, and she throws stuff at them and yells at them, and then it gets bad. It's it was really sad. The documentary. And I didn't know much about it before I watched it, but I would recommend it. Then I started watching Lesnoy Builds Cabins on YouTube. So fascinating. I love wilderness shows and people surviving in the wilderness and following people. And he builds this cabin in the woods over a period of like a summer, maybe North Carolina. He's so amazing. What he knows and how he works with the wood and the logs and the stones and the mud and makes the roof and lifts things with like levers. It's just fascinating. So Lesnoy, Lesnoy, builds cabins on YouTube. And this is not his first one. I will go back and watch all of them. It was really good. Then there is a new app out for our phones called Knit Trick app, where you can adjust a pattern for a different weight of yarn. Why did no one tell me about this? Other than it's going to take away my job as a designer. Yeah, if you have a fingering weight sweater and you want to knit it in sport weight yarn, you can go to this Knit Trick app and put in your numbers and the weight of your yarn, and it will redo the pattern for you. Seriously? Brilliant. Anyway, so I have it on my phone. I haven't used it. I showed a pair of socks last time, and my friend, acquaintance that I know here in Minnesota, Susan Rainey, made those socks into fingerless mitts, and they were darling. So cute. I showed the socks and I thought it'd be a lot of knitting. It's colorwork sock, but I would totally make these as mitts as a gift for next December for someone. I thought it was such a good idea. Just brilliant, Susan, brilliant. Then I have a little tips and tricks section today. When I teach my Ravelry classes, or when I am teaching my classes, just about any of my classes, a lot of the questions that I get asked before the class, in the middle at the break, or at the end after class are about choosing patterns, finding patterns, getting yarn to go with patterns. And so I made up a little list of things I do in order to find a good pattern. And so I'm going to screenshot it and put it on the screen here so you can take a picture of it. But the very first thing I check is if the pattern has been knit by other people on Ravelry. So test knit by more than one or two people, or test knit for all the sizes, and whether or not other people have knitted. So if it has 0 projects or 0 to 5 projects, that's number one for me. Like, if it hasn't been checked, I'm not taking a chance. I'm not going to take my little knitting time, personal knitting time that I have on a pattern that hasn't been tech edited and test knit, well written. And then I check out the helpful projects filter. So if you go to the projects page of the pattern that you're thinking about buying, over on the right is a filter button, and it drops down and you can click on all helpful projects. And in order for a project to get a helpful little thumbs up, you have to read through the notes of what someone wrote, and at the bottom it will say, is this project helpful, in tiny little print. I'll put a screenshot in. If you click the thumbs up, that means that you think that what that person wrote is helpful. And I will go to that filter before I think about buying a project so that I can see if people had trouble knitting it, right? Like if the sleeves are too tight, the neck is too big, all those things will come up in people's notes and in their comments. And if you see a note on Ravelry that helped you, like a person did more decreases, or they had to shorten the sleeve, or they found an error, and you click that little thumbs up button, it tells Ravelry that what that person wrote is more important than just their own personal notes. And that can really help you save a ton of time if you find an error in a pattern, going over to that. I also check to make sure that the pattern has an expanded size range, not only because I want all people in all sizes to have access to a pattern, but if a person can't size their pattern up and down to all the sizes, then their design ability might not be great, right? If they're not willing to size for all sizes, it may mean that they can only make the size that's right around their size fit well. And so I have learned over the years that not only do we want patterns to be size inclusive, but we want patterns that people know how to size up and down, or they have a tech editor or a pattern writer that they give their information to that writes out the pattern for them for all the sizes. Does that make sense? I'm still not sure about free patterns. I wish Ravelry would make everyone charge $1 for their patterns. I think if Ravelry made most places, not Pearl Soho, not Tin Can Knits, not some of the bigger sites that give a lot of free patterns, but like Drops, who takes a lot of patterns from people and really writes a recipe, not a pattern. Those free patterns are not things I want to decipher. I don't want to spend my knitting time writing a knitting pattern that's already been written. I want to be able to just knit from the instructions, and you can get a pretty good idea of a pattern writer's style and their pattern layout just by reading through the pattern. But if you are doing that, you don't want to buy the pattern, sometimes it can be really hard to know. I think Pearl Soho and Tin Can Knits are probably the only places that I would tell people have really well written. Or if the designer is giving a free pattern, like if I have 125 patterns out there and I decide to give a pattern away for free because I want to thank people, that, that's a designer who has a skill set, and then they're just giving one away. But if it's a new design and someone's giving it away for free, they probably haven't had it tech edited, because you need to have something tech edited in order to put out a decent pattern or test knit, and those things cost money. And if you did that and you were just giving away for free, I'm not sure how you would justify that. So I just wouldn't do a free pattern. So those are just some of the general things I do to choose patterns before I get started, especially if you haven't done a whole lot. Like, there are some patterns out there right now that are for beginners that are really, really popular, and they're not that well written, and it just drives me nuts, because I help a lot of people with things like that. And when they bring patterns over, I'm just like, why that is not clear. That is not, and someone reading that would have fixed that for them. So anyway, yeah. And the way I write patterns isn't for everybody either, right? Like you find people that you like the way they write their patterns. And I write checklist patterns, so every line is written out. And people who are really advanced knitters might find that really irritating. They might be like, I do not need all this. I don't need every row written out. But I have so many advanced beginners that want to knit my patterns, and they lose where they're at, or they don't know how many rows they're done. And I don't like making extra sheets of paper beside the pattern to check off how many repeats of that I've done or whatever. I just like to have it in the pattern. So, but that's not for everybody, and I get that. So it's a part of it can be a personal preference too. Okay. I have a couple of Corey's stories. One is sad for me. Yarn Fest has been canceled for 2026. So I'm not going to Estes Park. I'm not going to Pennsylvania. I am so bummed. They can't get enough vendors. They changed their locations to try to save money because they have them at these big convention event centers that cost so much, and they're so well organized, and they just can't make it. And it's such a bummer to me, because my classes have not been super full. And I told them, and I'll be really upfront about this. I told them they needed to hire bigger name teachers, right? That's who gets the draw. You got to bring in some big name people that people will travel to see. But those people are so expensive and are charging so much that they're saying, we can't take a chance on those. Like they're working their way up, to hire better and bigger, more personality teachers, people who have bigger followings and that kind of thing. But So they're going to try it for 2027, but I'm just so bummed. Those were my favorite events to teach at and go to. They're really well done, very well managed. The spaces were beautiful to stay in and to teach in, and everybody is happy. So yeah, that just went out the window. So that's really a bummer for me because those are big events that I got to teach at. I have applied to teach at Wisconsin Sheep and Wool and at Dallas Fiber Fest. I have not heard back from either one, but I'm hoping I get in again. And if you have a local Fiber Fest that's looking to hire teachers, please let me know. Or if you have a local yarn store that wants to hire me, please let me know. Because I love to teach, but my calendar is looking much more empty these days. It's just really, I finally got my name out there and got into some of the bigger events, and now they're just going away. And I get it. The economy stinks, and knitting is a, privilege. So anyway, Christmas, we went to my husband's brother's house and had a lovely meal with my two nieces and their husbands, and my one niece has a little boy, and the other niece announced she's pregnant, and she's the older niece, and I kind of figured they might never have kids. And she's gonna have a baby in June, so that was really exciting. Then Kylie and Stevie came over for Christmas Eve, and we celebrated with them, and they spoiled Ross and I just incredibly, which was really fun. Lots of little niche cute things that were perfect for us, but we had a lot to unwrap, which, we didn't need a thing, which is hard for them to hear, but like if we need something, we go buy it oftentimes. But that was really fun. We got some really, really nice things. My husband got some tools. He got a wrench and he got a ratchet and electric ratchet and things, and so he's happy. And my daughter gave me yarn, so I'm happy. It's just fun to unwrap yarn. Do I need a single skein? No. I just need to knit more out of my personal stash. But anyway, so that was lovely. Then we had Christmas Day alone, but the Vikings played, so that was fun. So we, because they go to my daughter's husband's family on Christmas Day. And then on that Friday, we left and went to Sioux Falls. We hit a terrible fog driving to South Dakota. It's about a 3.5 to 4 hour drive. And I don't know, maybe an hour and a half south of the Twin Cities, we hit a wall of fog. We could see it coming. It looked like those pictures of the Dust Bowl or of a dust storm where it's roiling it's just like there's a wall ahead of you and you're getting closer and closer to it. I said, Ross, I've never seen anything like this before, because it wasn't snow. It wasn't a blizzard. We weren't driving into snow. We were driving into fog. Dense, heavy fog, which they had for a couple of days. And we could see the road in front of us, maybe 2 car lengths, but it wasn't great. It was just an incredible thing to just drive into, like, all of a sudden it was sunny, and like Ross had his sunglasses on, and then we hit it. It was just craziness. But then we got there on Friday. We went out to a very nice dinner with my parents on Friday night, got to visit with them a lot. And then on Saturday, we went to lunch with the cousins. So all the girl cousins used to always get away. A lot of the cousins used to always get together, but now their kids are grown and they're every which way. And we used to do like a white elephant exchange. And when I was young, we would make a Christmas video every year. So we would make a skit, and every family would put together some type of skit. One year we did American Idol, and we dressed up as singers and judges and like craziness. We'd spend the whole day doing these videos, and they were on VHS tape. And then eventually it turned into kind of a white elephant gift exchange. And then now it's just kind of petered out. But one of my cousins, got us all together. So there were 12 women, mostly adult women, 17 and up, who all went to lunch on Saturday. And it was so good to see. Were there, so it was ladies' lunch. But we just visited, and I haven't been home. They usually do it before or after Christmas, and I'm one of the few. There's a couple other more distant people that live away. So we haven't gotten to go in years. And I just said, Mom, I'll make it. I'll get home. I'll figure out a way. Instead of coming for Christmas Day, we'll come, you know, and so that was lovely. I did get to have breakfast with my brother and his wife, who then we also went to lunch with. But hi, Jeff. He watches, and he retired this fall, and he's a huge reader. So we wanted to get together and talk books and chat about books. He always watches the podcast. He is not a knitter, but he is a reader, and he just keeps up with my life in that way. And I just think that's so nice. We were really, really close when he was young. He's 7 years younger than me. And then we have my brother in the middle. And yeah, we just had a really nice breakfast. We got to go, he's a runner, he's a swimmer. So yeah, that was really fun to just chat with him. My dad's a huge reader, so I gave my dad a gift card to get a bunch of books for Christmas, you know, too, because he just reads the daily deal, whatever the Amazon or Libby or whatever daily deal, whatever it is, he'll read that because they're free, or they're $1 or whatever. But yeah, I gave him some. So yeah, we just talked books. I wrote my dad a note and just said, I'm so thankful that you bestowed the love of reading to me. I mean, I was an English teacher. I don't know what I would do without books or audiobooks and having that in my life. So yeah, let's talk about the audiobooks. Okay, I read First Time Caller by B.K. Borson, and then I went out and put some other books on my list because that was I thought it would be a little kitschy. I thought it would be a little sappy. It's a radio station guy, and she calls in, and it's just great. It was a really, really great romance story. I kept thinking that I knew what was going to happen. Very highly recommend. Then I finished How I Found Myself in the Midwest by Steve Grove. He is the editor of the Minneapolis Star and Tribune, our local newspaper that is not going to be a newspaper forever. I mean, most print news is going away. So he is got a fascinating background. And I listened to his author talk, which is out on YouTube, that he did with the Hennepin County Library System about his career and this book. And then I decided I wanted to listen to the book. And it was really interesting. It's about his journey. He was in Silicon Valley. He worked for the big startups out there when he was younger, he and his wife both. And then they wanted to come back to the Midwest. They had a fertility journey. And then he worked in kind of politics with the governor. Before he was the governor, Governor Tim Walz, he worked for him. He did some internship stuff. And then now he's the editor of a newspaper, which he is not a journalist. So it's fascinating how I found myself in the Midwest. Then I read Twice by Mitch Albom, which is the book choice for February, so I kind of already talked about that. And I finished Love Light Farms by B.K. Borson. So I've already done 2 by that author. That is a Christmas tree farm lady. I kind of wanted to read a holiday themed book. And she has a best friend, a guy who comes back and helps her. But his mother lives close to her. And then she's got trouble on the farm. And she's not sure she can make ends meet. And, things ensue from there. But again, very good. And then I finished a thriller. And I am not a thriller girl. But it's called Behind Her Eyes by Sarah Pinborough. It was intense. It was scary. It got my hackles up a little bit. It wasn't graphic. But I figured that there would be a surprise ending. The ending did not hit for me. I want it to be more of a surprise, more of a plot twist. It was good. I didn't give it up. Usually if they're too weird, I just don't listen. But if you like a thriller, then you probably loved Behind Her Eyes. So it's totally up to you on that one. I forgot to tell everybody what I'm wearing. This is my 3-in-1 sweater by Atlier Alpha. It is a sweater made to look like you have shirts underneath it. So this is not attached. Like it's attached, and so you just knit down and then you make another roll and then you knit down. It is fingering weight. It is long. It has the same thing on the bottom. Probably be better off to just take a picture, but it has the same thing angled on the bottom of the sweater. I'll see if my husband will take a picture of me. But yeah, so I put that on. I had to go to the dentist today. I have a sore on my gum down here, and I thought it was a canker sore. And for about 2 weeks, it's been bothering me. And yesterday, I did not feel well all day. I just was really tired and out of it, and I just kind of laid in the chair. I did some knitting in the round, and so I thought maybe this was an infection or something, like whatever. So I called this morning and they got me in, and it's not infection. He thinks what probably happened is I probably ate something that caused some trauma to that gum, and then I got a sore. But he checked it, they took an x-ray, all of that. So when I got up this morning, I'm like, well, I got to put on a hand knit sweater, because the ladies at the dental office, the hygienist who does my teeth, and then the ladies behind the desk, they always ask me about my knitting. You know, oh my gosh, what are you wearing? Let's see it. We want to see what you're wearing. So I was like, I got to put on something I haven't worn. What have I not worn to the dentist in? Anyway, so now I got to rinse and some ointment to put on this, because it's probably been about 2 weeks and it's not going away. It's just a sore. And I get cold sores and canker sores. I'm one of those people. Usually when I'm stressed, which I've been stressed about my test knit. I handle it well. But yeah, I've been a little stressed about this pattern design because, of course, instead of just designing one sweater in one way for everybody to do, I had to do 3 sweaters in 3 ways and have all the things in one pattern. It's like the overachiever in me, which also makes for lots of headaches when you're writing it for 12 sizes for all the options. It's a hot mess. So every time I get an email, I'm just like, oh no, don't let it be another issue with something that I didn't get quite right. But anyway, so I had to go to the dentist, so I had to wear the sweater. I went all the way around the block telling that story. And you're used to it. Okay, let's do the giveaway winner, and then we will be done. So the prize this week is the cutest pair of I'd Rather Be Knitting socks, which are darling. I say I'd rather be knitting, and they have a little knitting on them. And then I got 2 of these clear bags, Vogue. And so these snap on the inside or the outside of one of those plastic Vogue bags with the handles, so that you can put like your notions in here, but you could just use this for a knitting bag. But then I got 2 of these, which are a bar to put inside the holes, so that you can hang skeins on these inside a Vogue bag, skein, and then it can pull off. It's so clever. I don't own a Vogue bag, but now I'm gonna buy one because I think this is just so cute and such a fun idea. But I have some of those tote bag, the plastic tote bags they're hard bottom. They come in 2 sizes with the plastic handles. I actually have one of those to give away too, but it doesn't have the holes in it. So I'm going to give these away. I'm hoping that the person that gets it will have a bag or go have the means to go buy a Vogue bag. But I have a sticker to put in here, and then this is the company that I got the sticks from. the clear plastic things. It came from summerdaycrochet.com. So I have this a yarn spinner, and the instructions for how to use it is going in there. And then I have mini skein packs. I have several of these. This is from Row 1 Yarn, and they're already packaged here. So all of that will go in this cute little clear bag, and it is going out to Mega Shirsagar. I think I'm saying that right. So Mega, you have been a Patreon member for quite a while. And so you won that prize. Get in touch with your mailing address. If I don't hear from you in a week or so, I have not heard from 2 previous winners. I really do like to let people hear their names, but this package is for Patricia Crossett, and this package is for Barbara Peters. And so I need to get these in the mail to these people. If you know either Patricia Crossett, I think I have Patricia's email. I just need to send it to her. And I sent Barbara Peters an email, but I didn't hear back. And I think sometimes it goes to people's spam, and then they don't know that it's there because they don't have me in their contacts. So Barbara Peters, if you're watching, you're a Patreon member. I sent you an email and I said, this is Corey. Here it is in this episode. So you can go look at it so you know it's not a scam that you're sending me your address. Anyway, so I have 2 prizes and now this one to get out of my house. So if anybody knows those people, get in touch with them, will you please? And let them know that their name has been called. Okay, I have a couple of guests lined up for the next podcast in a couple of weeks, and I will see you all in a fortnight. Talk to you later. Come in for a hug. Subscribe. If you haven't subscribed, would you please subscribe? That would be a great end of year gift for me if I could get a few new followers. My subscribers hasn't changed in quite a while. All right.